Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by Teddy Bear 2 himself, Nick Steblenko.
This is the last nice day we're going to have in Rochester, I'm calling it.
Rest in peace, beautiful weather. It did hit 60 degrees today. It was nice.
It's gorgeous.
And
I think we get one this weekend, and hopefully it's Sunday.
So are we golfing this weekend is the big question.
Well, no.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm fully in hockey mode.
Oh, my
I'm in 100%
God.
hockey mode now.
You know what you do? We'll relive Happy Gilmore. You bring your hockey stick out on the putting green, and you start hitting some balls with your hockey stick.
No.
That's close enough.
It's close, but, man, I got to have skates on my feet.
All right, fine. I'll let you put blades on the bottom of your golf shoes. How about that? That'd probably be really destructive to the course.
Can I get a jersey, at least?
Whoa, a sweater.
Oh, fine, a sweater.
Oh, you're the one who makes fun of me for saying jersey, and you just screwed it up yourself. That laugh you just heard was Matthew Footer. What up, Foot?
I must be the only person in America besides Billy Martin who's been fired more times than have been able to come back.
Matthew Footer. Billy Martin. I think, yeah, you're probably going to eclipse the mark of being fired, of Billy Martin.
Yeah, I think
what was
so.
it, like 4 times? 5 times?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty bad.
I think I did that this week alone.
I think you did. Somehow you're still on the show, though, and you're doing a pretty good job, though. So I haven't really actually wanted to fire you. Good job.
Well, that's good.
Congratulations. Today on the Star Fantasy League Show, we are doing the Weekend Fantasy Focus. It is Friday, and that means you have just 2 days left. So set your lineups for Sunday football. I haven't said that in a long time. I miss saying that. That was a lot of fun. But before we get to the actual Weekend Fantasy Focus, where you give you your value plays of the week, we give you your weekend winners, and play Would You Rather, where you guys fight it out, we have to talk about last night's game, which I'll admit, didn't watch.
You didn't watch it?
I was watching other things.
You didn't see the dominance that is Ronnie Hillman?
All I want to talk about is the fact that Ronnie Hillman got the worst vulturing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was probably the worst I've ever seen, too. Counted 5 potential touchdowns for him yesterday. 5. He had, 2 called back, 2 clearly vultured away from him, and then there's, I believe, 1 more, and I can't remember what happened. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but it was ridiculous.
He had
it
the
was
one
insane.
right down the sideline, called back because he stepped out at the
Which was
close.
crap.
It was very
that,
close.
I don't know about that. That was inconclusive.
Let me guess. You are a Ronnie Hillman owner.
Yeah.
Of course you are. There we go. I was wondering.
I told you to pick him up over C.J. Anderson, but did anyone listen to me? No. Just like I said, pick up Booby Dixon over Bryce Brown.
Did you?
Yeah.
You pronounced
Booby.
You pronounced Booby Gibson's name wrong.
Booby Dixon.
No.
Put Booby in, and you will win.
All right. We've used that line at least 10,000 times, and we haven't even mentioned him as a value pick.
He's going to spin.
I get
Spin.
it. I hate both of you. So
I hope he comes up on Would You Rather today. You better.
Of course he's going to come up. He's going to come up everywhere in this show today. God, you guys have to
Can we just play him for Would You Rather for every single time?
No.
Booby Dixon or Aaron Rodgers. Booby Dixon or...
I don't think that's
Alshon
how...
Jeffrey.
A hurricane or Booby Dixon?
Booby Dixon.
I don't think that's how StarFantasyLeagues.com allows you to pick, running backs at every single position. Not how that works.
But if I could, Booby would be my choice.
You'd put him in.
It's true.
8 times? 10 times?
every time.
12 times?
Booby Dixon.
All right. Do you have anything actually you want to say about this other than the fact that Emmanuel Sanders is now clearly the guy?
Yeah, I do.
He's high.
Well, that's nice. I mean, he caught 3 touchdowns.
And had
that
9,
was good.
10 catches for
That was
120 yards?
He had a
9 catches?
fantastic game, yes. But I think that what we need to talk about is how your San Diego Chargers are still second fiddle.
Okay, they lost a road game in Denver.
They got smoked.
Okay.
They got spanked.
I actually didn't think they played terribly. Philip Rivers had a pretty good game. He ended up with 2 interceptions, but one was really
One
late
was
in the
so
game.
garbage. It was like basically the guy
It was
got
a jump
thrown.
ball.
He
Yeah.
got thrown to the ground. Keenan Allen got thrown down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here, have an interception."
You
for
pair
free.
of bleeding hearts. Unbelievable.
It's clearly obvious that it's tough to predict who's going to be the top guy on the Denver offense each week. unless you just put in Demaryius Thomas and you get those consistent points each week. But Julius Thomas was killing it earlier this year. Emmanuel Sanders has 4 touchdowns in 5 days, essentially.
Yeah.
Had 0.
He had 0 before that.
It's and then Hillman came off the bench and has been productive ever since the injury.
That's an understatement.
So.
He's gonna have that's his job now.
But I think you're being too nice to San Diego. I really do.
Okay, talk to me when San Diego loses this game at home to Denver. Then you can say, fine, they're better.
Which they will.
All right, so if they split, if San Diego wins the home game, then what do you say? Oh, they're better? No, you don't say either.
No, I mean, I would be surprised. I would be very surprised.
They're 2 of the top 3 teams in the AFC right now. Right? I think they're Denver's number 1. I'm going to say San Diego is number 3. Indy's number 2. New England, I don't know. I honestly have no clue what New England's like. No clue.
I mean, it's tough because I think there are some other teams we could talk about. All I want to point out is, did you see how at one point Brandon Oliver had like 4 or 5 catches for negative yardage? That is a telling stat to me. It really is, because Brandon Oliver has been kind of like their diamond in the rough, the guy that they just found out of nowhere, their little
drop
magic
from the
find.
sky.
So for him to get absolutely pasted in this game was very telling.
Well,
that's one of their number 1
you said it.
playmakers.
Their front 7 for Denver is really, really dominant.
Mm-hmm.
When
yes, no, they were last night, and they have been the past couple of games. But they have a very good pass rush because they have 2 great edge rushers. They are solid in the secondary. I'm not going to go as far as to say they are fantastic in the secondary.
Big upgrade. Akeem Talib.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I just overall, I still don't have them in the top 5 as far as defense. It's arguable as far as top 10.
They're much improved over last year.
Yes,
That's all
definitely.
I'll say. Much improved.
Definitely.
All right, we got to move on from football to more football.
Hey,
it's
there we go.
It's the weekend fantasy focus here on the Star Fantasy League show, which means we are giving you the value plays on StarFastLeagues.com, the weekend winners. We're playing Would You Rather Fight to the Death, and we also got the stack of the week, which I'm sure we'll name a couple. Let's start off with Value Corner. This is where we give you the value plays to allow you to put in your top plays. We're going to break down every single position, starting with, Nick, do you know who we're starting with?
The defense.
I hate you so much.
Kickers.
God, we don't have kickers.
I didn't pick
tight
ends.
Darn.
We're not one of those crappy daily fantasy sites that offers kickers. Come on. What a crapshoot.
You want to start with quarterbacks?
Of course I'd love to start with quarterbacks.
Hey, all right.
I only have 12 written down.
Only 12.
Only 12.
Well, I've only got 1.
Yeah?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Kyle Orton.
Mr. Kyle Orton.
Oh, God, I hate you.
No,
so
listen. Okay, This is a legitimate one. I'm serious.
It is. I agree.
The New York Jets secondary is so bad. They are giving up the second most fantasy points to fantasy quarterbacks out there.
And that was when they had D. Milner healthy. Now he's out for the season.
So yeah, the New York Jets are contending with the Rams for the worst secondary in football right now.
Ew.
So, yeah, I like Kyle Orton, and I think I wouldn't expect him to have a perfect day, but I would expect him to be more productive than he was last week.
You guys laughed at me when I said Orton a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because it was a terrible matchup. Yeah.
Bad
He's
matchup.
averaging 16.83 points per game. That's actually better than a lot of guys ahead of him.
Garbage.
Doesn't matter.
garbage.
Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for mediocre performances, or are you looking for guys that are going to actually stretch the ceiling a little?
Well, in Value Corner, it's usually mediocre performances.
I look for guys that have a very high ceiling in the Value Corner.
Speaking of guys with high ceilings, how about Mike Glennon against
God.
Minnesota? Who
Glennon Love.
What do you mean Glennon Love? Of course I have Glennon Love. He's home against Minnesota. I think Tampa Bay is a little bit better than people expect, than people realize with Mike Glennon at quarterback.
I was very surprised to find out that Minnesota is actually pretty good against opposing quarterbacks. They are giving up 29th.
Well, they just
the 29th most fantasy points.
They just went up against Kyle Orton. That probably helped their
That
numbers
doesn't.
out a little bit.
What do you mean? We're 7 weeks through the season here.
I understand.
There's a lot more data to go off of, and I was very surprised at that. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would go with it. I think I would steer clear of Glennon this week.
I actually want to toss in one guy's name. He's actually listed a little bit higher than most of these guys is Tom Brady because we talked about him yesterday. Under 16,000, got a really good matchup against Chicago. Their defense is banged up. Their secondary is banged up big time. I think he has a huge day this week.
Well, and the fact that he's on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing Tom Brady.
It's Brady time.
The old Brady again. Mm-hmm. You know, so everybody that was screaming and yelling and about to jump off a cliff with Tom Brady that they drafted him so high.
Womp, womp,
Nope.
womp,
Yeah, he's back.
womp.
He's killing it right now.
He is.
So I think that's a great one too.
Yep, that is an understatement. I think there's a couple of guys around that price where Brady's at a little more expensive. Ryan Tannehill, I still consider a value play.
Oh, definitely.
And Carson Palmer. Palmer's against Philadelphia at home, which is a great matchup. And Ryan Tannehill at Jacksonville. We saw last week Cleveland couldn't get it done, but that's Cleveland. I'm pretty sure this offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. He's liking his new pieces in Jarvis Landry, so I can see Tannehill having a big game, and I know you're smiling over there, Nick, because you're a huge Tannehill fan this season.
No, I thought he was going to take a step forward, and he clearly has.
Even though Philbin said, 4
yep,
weeks ago he hated him, apparently.
A little bump in the road with him and Joe Philbin, but apparently it worked because Tannehill has actually been zoned in, locked in, ready to go.
So Philbin's a genius, right?
Well, I guess you could say he did something right. So, yeah, I like that one too, and I love the matchup. This is a great matchup for them.
All right, can we say it really quickly? Zach Mettenberger starting for Tennessee.
Yeah, I thought about that, though. I mean, you have a
actually.
QB at the minimum, but don't really like the matchup. That's a tough one.
I'd rather spend the $3,000 or the $2,800 and get Kyle Orton and just be done with it. I don't trust. I'd rather go with Houston's defense rather than Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine that J.J. Watt is going to be chasing them all.
He's going to eat them.
But according to Kendall Wright, he said Mettenberger throws the ball hard. So
wow, thank you, Kendall Wright, for that. That's
all
John
right.
Madden stuff right there.
That was a great comment. I saw
he throws it and then boom, it's in the receiver's hands.
Tough action connected. Boom.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's his ad.
No, not that.
Oh, I was like,
the fact that Kendall Wright was like, he throws it hard.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly move on to value.
He sounds like that too.
Yeah, value corner for running backs. Should I put him in?
Should you put him in?
Is he going to win?
He is going to win.
Is he going to spin?
He might spin.
All right, we're talking about Boobie Dixon, not Boobie Gibson, who I keep calling him for no reason.
I'm going to throw everybody off a little bit. The Jets, the past couple of weeks, look at the running backs that have beat them. They're scat backs, guys that have Shane Vereen, Brandon Oliver, guys that you get them out in space and they make something happen. I think this is the week that you hold off on Boobie Dixon. He's going to get plenty of touches. Trust me, he'll get somewhere between 50 and 20 touches. But if you're really, really, really hoping to get somebody on the Bills' offense at running back, I think Bryce Brown takes off in the first week.
Yeah, I mean, he's the exact same value. They're both $3,000. That's the minimum. I don't think you're going to go wrong, honestly, with putting either of them in. There's a few guys that I like. Even though I don't believe what Jeff Fisher says, Trey Mason's about 4,600. He had 20-plus snaps, I think, last week to Zach Stacy's 1. And, Fisher came out and said it's all about game plans, but I still think he's going to be...
What game plan?
Well, I'm going to stick to my guns on this one because St. Louis is bad. They're just bad. They have been able to put up points in some games, but it's mainly because they've been behind and they've had to catch up. They've had to throw the ball. Trey Mason doesn't factor in the passing game, so if they get behind, it's all game over. So I just got to steer clear. That's a mess of a backfield.
And I'm pretty sure they are going to get behind because the Kansas City Chiefs have actually been playing pretty well. Maybe they're feeding off that Royals fever. I don't know what it is, but they're looking pretty good.
They are.
Coming after the break, we're continuing Value Corner and giving weekend winners, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That is right. You can tweet us at SFL Show on the Twitter. But today we don't have Donald's mailbag. It's the Weekend Fantasy Focus. And if you don't know what it is by now, I'm not telling you. If you're a new listener, I'm just not telling you.
That's just mean.
You're going to learn as you go along.
That's just mean.
We're talking about value plays, weekend winners, stack of the week, and would you rather on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Week 8 of the NFL season. And we're continuing with running backs because we named a bunch. But guess what? There are a bunch more. There's a lot of value at the running back position this week, but there's also a lot of top guys as well. So I think I might be honestly putting in 4 running backs this week.
Really?
With the 2 flex spots.
Wow.
I like a lot of running backs this week.
Okay. All
right, Footer, I know you had a bunch more. Who else do you like?
Yeah, obviously, Jerick McKinnon, I think he kind of proved last week that he can be a solid reliable
Wait, but Mike
option.
Zimmer said he's not playing. Oh, thanks, Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, thanks.
Shirk.
Under 7,000 still, going up against Tampa Bay. I think that's a good matchup. If this guy stays healthy, which I think he probably will, against the Oakland Raiders run defense, which is terrible, I like Ben Tate for 8,500 this week. I also like one other guy. I like Reggie Bush, actually, against
Reggie
Atlanta.
Bush. You think Reggie Bush
isn't even going to play? He's doubtful.
Not only is he not going to play, that doesn't count. That game is at 9:30 in the morning.
And I'd be taking Joique Bell in that game.
Yeah, correct. We're not going to talk about that game. We're just off.
All right, fair enough.
That game is off the board. StarFantasyLeagues.com. We only have the 1 o'clock games and later. So that game off the board. You lose. Big X.
I did like what you had to say about Ben Tate. I do like that matchup against Oakland, although I still think this is the second trap game in a row for Cleveland. I think they right the ship. So the one way that they have to do that is to get Ben Tate involved. Last week they only got him 16 carries as opposed to 25 and 22 the 2 weeks prior to that. That's a big part of their game. I mean, Brian Hoyer doesn't have the type of arm that's going to stretch the field, so they have to figure out a way to move the chains, get Ben Tate involved, get Crowell involved too. Run the ball 40-plus times with your running backs. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the type of team they are.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
But they didn't do that last week against Jacksonville, and that's where I think they ran into a problem.
Makes sense. All right, we got some guys that are a little bit off the value path, but Jamal Charles just under 13,000, Lamar Miller 13,700, Eddie Lacy's under 10,000 still. But these are all big name backs aside from Lamar Miller. But I think all three of these guys could have big weeks, and they're probably going to be in my rotation of four running backs. At least two of these guys. I
mean, I got to tell you that a couple of the guys at the top have some really tasty matchups.
Matt Forte,
Marshawn Lynch, both of them. Yeah, they have pretty good matchups. So it's going to be interesting to see. Do you want to go heavy on running backs or wide receivers this week? Personally, you could go either way.
Well, doesn't LaShawn McCoy have a really juicy matchup as well?
Yeah, but man, I can't trust him.
Yeah.
I just can't trust him. He hasn't blown up in any games yet, and I know it's always possible, but I'd rather see a guy that is doing that consistently in Matt Forte.
And Darren Sproles should be back this week as well, right?
Yep.
So that's another issue for him.
You never know. It could help McCoy a little bit just by taking some pressure off of him.
That's true, but
but it's not something I'm ready to.
Sproles has been really involved in the passing game. That helps.
Absolutely.
Helps him, not anybody else.
Agreed.
Let's not forget about Denard Robinson either.
Love him. I loved it. I had him.
You love the shoelace,
I had a lineup with him in it last week, and the last second I changed it to Jerick McKinnon, and I paid for it. I forgot to trust my gut.
Still got a decent amount out of
Yeah,
McKinnon.
I got like 14 points, but I didn't get the 28 or 31 that Shoelace put up.
Yeah, Miami's really not doing too. I mean, they're not horrible, but they're not doing great against running backs. So
good for Denard Robinson.
Yeah, good
That's
for
all I
him.
gotta say. Good for
Absolutely, nobody thought he was going to really make that transition.
And what do you think about the last guy I mentioned, Eddie Lacy?
I just, I love Eddie Lacy and I love what he brings to Green Bay, but from a fantasy perspective, Aaron Rodgers is this offense. He is doing everything right now, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it once we get to the weekend winners.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on real quick to value wide receivers for Week 8 of the NFL season. What do you got?
I got a couple guys. I got Devontae Adams. It's listed under 5,000 for a guy who's getting the amount of work that he is. It's very tough to find.
Well, we know there's going to be 3 to 4 touchdowns thrown by Aaron Rodgers. The question is, who gets them?
Yeah. New Orleans is actually the second worst team against wide receivers, allowing almost 200 receiving yards a game to wide receivers. So I think that's a pretty good matchup. Obviously, they lost Jarris Byrd a few weeks ago, so their secondary is really banged up right now.
Garbage.
I have one other guy as well. I like Jarius Wright. I've been saying it for a few weeks. Under 6,000. Tampa Bay's not the best against wide receivers, so I like that matchup as well.
Yeah, I like the matchup. I don't really like the offense. So we saw what happened to Teddy Bridgewater last week when he walked into Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And
he fell down a lot.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay has a pretty good defensive line, actually. That's pretty underrated.
They do. It's just that I don't know if I can trust Teddy Bridgewater on the road. That this is his second road game. That's a tough one.
There's a lot of value at this position too. I like Sammy Watkins against New York. Like we said, depleted secondary.
Definitely.
He's clearly going to emerge as the guy.
Absolutely.
It's Sammy time.
Absolutely.
T.Y. Hilton against Pittsburgh. I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. I think he's a great matchup. How about Michael Floyd against Philadelphia? Carson Palmer and him are back together. That's a nice little one. There's a lot of guys that are just around this 10 to 13 range that I could consider putting in.
How about, surprisingly enough, Baltimore Ravens, 4th worst against wide receivers?
They're getting way ahead in these games.
Mohamed Sanu is still the number 1 guy there, and A.J. Green is not looking good for this week again. So, yeah. I mean, I know he is up over 11,000. He's just under 12,000.
That's still value, though.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, Roddy White actually put up his first 100-yard game of the season last week against Baltimore, and he got a touchdown. So that was very surprising. So if Roddy White can do it, I think Mohamed Sanu could easily do that.
I think so, too.
How about a sneaky little Alshon Jeffrey play, 10,200? I think his counterpart's going to be on Revis Island during this game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to matter that much, though. I really don't. I think both of those guys are going to have pretty decent weeks.
But, I mean, at the value, I think Alshon is really smart.
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
I I'm not opposed to putting both of them in a lineup and just rolling with it.
The question is Chicago in flux right now? Are they in trouble?
Yeah.
You know, so
Oh,
you might want to stay away from their offense then if that's the case.
I think it's a must win. They're going to need to come out there and
So
fire.
I think they're going to be fine. I think both guys are going to be just fine.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to tight ends real quick, and there's a few names on here. Nick, I know that you're on the Jordan Cameron sinking ship. It's a sinking ship. He's under 6,000 right now.
Yeah, it is a sinking ship. I didn't understand what happened last week.
Was he on? Hold on. Was he on the field? Am I confused?
Yeah,
he did play in this game, correct?
He did.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, he was not heavily involved in the offense.
Over.
This is really just getting to be one of the weirdest situations in all of fantasy football.
Yep.
I don't get it at all. So probably could start him because the potential is there. You know, he's one of the most athletic tight ends, but it's just tough to call. It's really tough to call.
Do you think with a guy like him, he was too touchdown dependent last year? There's a lot. Sometimes
No,
he had like 80-something receptions. Didn't
he had like 80 catches for almost 1,000 yards. Mm-hmm. So, or maybe over 1,000 yards, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 10,000.
Or just under. He had 900 yards on 80 catches.
Yeah.
No, I don't at all. I think he is such an athletic player that it doesn't matter where you line him up on the field. You can slot him out. You can put him tight. It doesn't matter, but they're just not drawing up plays for him.
I'd personally rather spend up this week, a little bit up. Jordan Reed, I feel like is going to be a safety blanket for Colt McCoy because we noticed when Kirk Cousins came in, who did he throw to the first couple games? Niles Paul. I feel like Colt McCoy is going to rely on him the exact same way, and Jordan Reed's actually been playing pretty well since he came back.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I love this matchup. Dallas is giving up the second most fantasy points to tight ends. So, love the matchup.
Yeah,
don't forget the Arizona alert. Arizona's playing.
They're actually not that bad.
No, they are,
Stop
dude.
it.
Yes,
they are that bad against tight end. They can't cover the tight end position.
Giving up the sixth most.
Sixth.
They were
Sixth is bad.
He says it every week like they're the worst.
Because last
But it's a
season they
good
were
target.
number one,
That's
and they
It
did,
is a good target.
when they go up against elite tight ends or even good. Zach Ertz is an athletic young guy who can
do like
score the
Zach
ball.
Ertz.
That's why I go. If they're a good tight end, I am instantly playing them against Arizona. It happens.
I got one more for you. The Jets are actually the fourth worst against tight ends. I like Scott Chandler for
hate you.
5,300 this week.
Ugh.
Orton's kind of found him as his security blanket.
Yeah.
So I think Chandler, if you're looking to save money, is not a bad option this weekend.
Perfect.
He's actually holding on to the ball, too, which is nice.
Yeah, he's holding onto the ball. Good for you, Scott Chandler. All right, we got to move on to weekend winners. These are the players, regardless of salary, we think are going to put up the most points for Week 8 on StarFantasyLeague.com. Where are we starting, Nick?
With bench players.
IDP, independent defensive players. Sure.
I take J.J. Watt every day.
Yeah, obviously you would. No, we don't have that on StarFantasy.com.
You take Polamalu.
We are a real fantasy site. We're not doing that crap.
That's
I take James Harrison. What are you kidding? I'm a James
sure
Harrison
fun.
guy. All right, we're starting with the QB position, and I know who you want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Nick.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be the man this week. I mean, New Orleans is not good against any quarterback.
Against anything.
And he is on fire. He's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the game, if not we're just getting to all-time status.
Correct.
So, yeah, this is going to be a great week for him. New Orleans secondary is nothing right now. They're nothing.
Well, you're not really talking up any game for Green Bay, though. It might be the Drew Brees show as well in this game.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, we're talking.
I'm just saying both quarterbacks can have a monster day.
Well,
Drew
Green
Brees
Bay's secondary has been pretty decent the past couple of weeks. It really has. And kind of surprised. They've been banged up. Sam Shields and Tramon Williams were out last week, so I'm really not sure where it came from. But it's here, and it's okay.
My guy is actually Russell Wilson. Going against Carolina's defense, they're the sixth worst against QB. He's thrown for over 300 yards 2 out of the last 3 weeks. He ran for 100 yards last week. He is the third most expensive player on the site right now, so you will be paying for production, but I think it's totally worth it this week.
Are you guys cool with not paying up for quarterback? Because I've noticed the difference between the number one quarterback, Andrew Luck, and like the 15th quarterback, I don't even know who it is, but it's like 8 points a game, and you can make that up in other places.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would never have Wilson in my lineup, but I think he'll be the top.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried lineups with like a cheap guy and an expensive guy, 2 cheap guys, 2 expensive, and it just never seems to pan out when you do.
All right, so who's your favorite value play at quarterback this week?
Probably either Tom Brady or Carson Palmer.
Okay, so Tom Brady is 15,800. Aaron Rodgers is 18,700. Difference of 3,000 there.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's a difference of 6,000 between Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, who is over 24,000.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers is a top guy I would put in, but someone like Andrew Luck, I probably wouldn't. So 21,000, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, no. So to me, the difference in price and production actually makes sense with Rodgers in this one, just because the fact he's really not that much different than most of those value guys that you want to reach for around that 15,000 mark.
Yep, I personally said I don't think my weekend winner is going to be a Palmer or a Brady, but I think they're probably going to be my top middle of the line guy. I personally think Tony Romo could be the top.
I was going to say I think Romo could have a huge week. Washington's great against the run. They're the number one team against the run. So, or fantasy wise, they're third worst against fantasy quarterbacks. So Romo and Dez and Terrence Williams and Jason Witten could just be having a field day. Oh wait, who's that other guy?
Gavin Escobar.
Yeah. Escobar just stealing touchdowns down there.
Yeah, he's
just a touchdown vulture.
He has turned out to be a touchdown vulture. Yeah, but like you said, this should be it is a divisional matchup, but they tend to like to put up points. Dallas is putting up points. Washington has Colt McCoy, so what the hell are they going to do?
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think this is a game.
But are you worried about
It is a game.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
No,
are you worried in fantasy about games where you pretty much know? Because they're a 10-point favorite.
Yes, but I don't know. I don't think it should be that big of a problem.
Romo should have no trouble in this game getting 3 touchdowns, right?
No, he should.
Easily?
He should get at least
this
3.
is a game that Dallas will blow.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're going to lose.
All right.
Dallas is gonna
Coming
lose?
up after...
No.
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
Come on, man.
All right. Coming after the break, we're continuing with weekend winners, and they're fighting it out to the death in Would You Rather. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show is so packed with the weekend fantasy focus, I don't even have time to make fun of Cage Guy for getting Footer's name wrong yet again.
Yeah, don't even bother. I mean, it's just not pointless at this point.
It's okay.
He's getting fired anyways.
Yeah, Footer.
Who's going to get fired more, him or me?
No, it's you.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't get fired. He's still in the cage.
Yeah.
He's always been in the cage.
That's
All right,
true.
so we're moving on. We're talking about weekend winners here on StarFantasyLeagues.com. These are guys, regardless of salary, think are going to put up the most points in Week 8. Running back position, I have Matt Forte. I love Matt Forte.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on this one. New England's not the greatest against fantasy running backs.
Especially running backs that can catch the ball, and they have nobody in the middle. You said Chandler Jones is out.
Yes.
Gerard Mayo's out for the year. Guess what? There's going to be some open space in the middle of the field.
Definitely.
I mean, DeMarco Murray's the obvious option, but like Nick said earlier, Washington's actually really good fantasy-wise against the running backs. So I think Forte is the better option this week, and you're going to be saving money there when you can put somewhere else. So
Correct.
I really wouldn't be surprised if Jerick McKinnon had a huge week this week.
Wait, did you pick? Did you just nonchalantly not pick?
No, I said Forte.
You don't get to pick the same guy I picked. Stop that.
That's what I have.
I don't care. That's not how the show works. That is not how the show works.
Okay,
But
fine.
it's who I got.
Fine, I'll go with my second guy, Marshawn Lynch.
Okay, there you go. See how the show works?
Okay.
You don't get to pick. You don't get to piggyback off what I just said and go, yep, I agree. Yep, that's a boring show.
I wish we could have picked for last night, too, because I loved Ronnie Hillman in that matchup. Anyways, Jerick McKinnon could actually blow this game wide open. Tampa Bay is awful against running backs, and I really don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a good day. I think he'll check the ball down a ton. I think we'll see a lot of what happened against Buffalo last week. But Buffalo actually was good against the run, and he did a ton of damage against them. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay is awful against the run. I think he could just absolutely blow it open.
I think that was just a hiccup for the Bills' defense, actually. I think
so, too.
I think they'll come back and pretty much shut down Chris Ivory and Chris Johnson.
Oh, we'll see.
But
If you want a dark horse for weekend winner running back, Andre Ellington against Philadelphia. I think he has a lot of chance to get open in space and create some problems against Philadelphia.
The only thing I'm worried about, although he's always questionable, I don't know. I always worry about him going into game time, even though because he's always on the injury report.
This whole brittle thing is garbage. I'm tired of this. Oh, he's brittle. He's injured. Yeah, he came into the season not 100%, but has he missed a game yet?
No. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. Stop it. Bruce Arians, stop putting him on the injury report.
Tired
Tired
of
you.
Tom Brady's always on the injury report.
But that's like a joke at this point. That's like a running joke. Yeah, injury report.
Maybe Andre Ellington's the new running joke.
I thought it was funnier when they wouldn't high-five him. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, let's move on. Top play weekend winner at wide receiver is
Jordy Nelson. Easy. I mean,
easy. Whoa.
I think you
it really is. Easy.
Yeah,
this is definitely an easy one.
Like for his value, 16,000. I don't see any doubt. Like we said, New Orleans is terrible against the pass. Rob Ryan's the most overrated defensive coordinator in history.
Boom.
So
shots fired.
Throwing down.
Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, I agree. Jordy Nelson is definitely going to be the guy, but I'm also going to throw Dez Bryant in there because Washington not going to be able to stop them. I think Tony Romo is going to have a great night, and I think Dez, especially after last week, last week, like I said, I thought Dez was going to come out and have a big game. He did. This is going to be another one where he just solidifies his superstar.
He heard you.
You
Yeah, he
named.
did.
You just named.
Desi Luhu is my man.
Awesome. You guys named 2 of the best 5 receivers in football. You didn't name Antonio Brown. He's my weekend winner.
I love Antonio.
I personally think one of the receivers in this game is going to be the weekend winner. It could be Antonio, could be T.Y. Hilton. I could see either of them doing it.
Reggie Wayne has been ruled out for the game, so it's going to...
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Earlier today, so...
oh, baby, give me some...
lot more targets for
I
T.Y.
can't even tell you who the number 1 cover corner in Pittsburgh is right now.
Well,
I don't know.
let me tell you this. And I'm on your side with Antonio Brown. The Indianapolis Colts are the best fantasy defense against wide receivers in the league.
That's
so
why I
hang on.
avoided
This
Brown.
is what I want. I want to see Antonio Brown absolutely decimate this team.
I think he
because I
will.
don't think anybody can stop him.
No.
I don't think anyone can stop him.
He is a freak.
I love
right
him.
now.
I love him. He's one of the most well-rounded wide receivers in the game.
I
He runs
agree.
perfect routes, high and low.
All right, let's quickly move on to the number 1 tight end weekend winner. Let's get it.
I only got one. Greg Olsen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to go with that.
You don't get to agree. This is not how this works.
No, that's the next segment where I just absolutely smash Footer.
But here's the thing. If he is going to be the top one, why would I want to say the second best one if he's going to be the weekend winner?
It's like you basically get you get taken off the board.
This
They're
isn't
no
about,
longer there.
This isn't about Footer's universe, okay? This
Yeah,
is about the fans.
screw Footer's
This is about
universe.
the fans listening to the show.
All right, fine. Then I'll go with Zach Ertz just because I think it's a nice matchup. So
You stole John's.
How did neither? No, he didn't steal mine.
Oh.
He was my out of the box guy. But nobody mentioned Gronk at all.
No.
Nobody's interested in Gronk
No.
or Jimmy Graham.
Nope.
Really?
I'm still not sold
If
on
he's
Graham
healthy.
being 100%.
If he's healthy.
I don't think he is. I really don't think he is.
All right, then I'm going with Gronk.
That's fine.
Gronk against Chicago. Chicago, who's in the middle of that defense?
I don't know.
Exactly. Nobody. Where are the linebackers from the midway? No, they're all gone.
Lance
They're not doing it.
Briggs.
No, not. Stop, that. Stop that. All right, you guys want to quickly touch on defense? There's some pretty obvious ones this week.
I mean, even though they're really cheap, I think Miami's a good option against Jacksonville. Although it failed last week, I thought Cleveland was going to be a top one. I also really like Detroit against Atlanta, who's
No,
quote-unquote
not a game
at
that
home.
counts. Stop it. Stop talking about that game. 9:30 a.m. Eastern time.
If you played a Thursday game, you could have had him in your lineup.
That is
though,
true.
So.
We're not going to put anything up for that. Screw that game. I'm tired of it.
All right, then I'll stick with Miami then.
All right, perfect. I like Kansas City against St. Louis.
Yeah, I was going to say, St. Louis's offense is just a mess.
Yep. Or we can go with Houston against Tennessee. I think J.J. Watt causes some issues against rookie Zach Mettenberger, the new future in Tennessee, apparently.
You're not buying in Kurt Warner saying Austin Davis is he said Austin Davis is the next Kurt Warner? He said that about him.
So he's going to go to the Arena League is what they're saying?
No, he came out of obscurity and he's going to lead them to the Super Bowl is basically what
So
it
he's
said.
he's the Arena League MVP next year?
Maybe.
Oh, cool. I'm excited for Austin Davis in the Arena League.
I got the Bills, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're going up against the hapless Jets.
The
I thought
Geno
about that.
Smith-led hapless Jets?
Not Geno Smith led. They're just
Oh.
hapless Jets.
Okay, I'm just
Geno
checking.
Smith is not the leader on this team, although he should be.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we got to get to the best part of the Weekend Fantasy Focus here on the Star
Yeah,
Fantasy
the
League
best
Show.
part for me.
And it is, put on your boxing gloves. It's time for Would You Rather.
Ding, ding, baby.
I don't think this is a fair matchup.
No, it's not.
He's
We're
a lot-
clearly
yeah.
in two different weight classes
This
here.
is very
we are.
true.
It's a
All
big
right, the first one
crossover.
is your boy, Ryan Tannehill, 16,933, or Carson Palmer, 16,913.
Wow, that's a
$20.
good one.
$20 different.
I'll let you go
good
first, sir.
I got
Sir.
Ryan Tannehill going up against Jacksonville. I think that this is a great week for him to actually spread his wings a little bit.
And fly
and
away.
fly away. Jacksonville is really that bad. They give up plenty of points to opposing teams. Cleveland was just an absolute crap show. They were terrible. So, Jacksonville's bad.
I got to go with Palmer. The only reason why Philly's defense has been somewhat fantasy relevant this year is because they've gotten weird scores, kickoff returns, things like that. I think Palmer, he's starting to build a good rapport again with Michael Floyd. I think he's going to come back and actually have a really good week this week. I like him a lot against the Eagles.
I love Carson Palmer. He's going to be in every single one of my lives this weekend. Love him. Next one's Brian Hoyer, 12,143, or Kyle Orton, 11,889.
Oh, this is an easy one. Kyle Orton all day. Going against the Jets, he's going to go out there. He's been averaging just around like 280 yards.
It's
couple
because he throws the
touchdowns.
ball 50 times a game.
That's okay. I think the Jets' defense is
That's
actually
not
going to
okay.
be pretty decent against our run. They have been this season. They had a little bit of a breakdown. I think they actually will shut down the run pretty well. I think it's going to be reliant on Orton.
Go ahead, talk crap
Oh,
about
yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett. Go ahead.
No, I can't. I got to take Orton over Hoyer in this one. I'm sorry. Oakland's passing defense is actually okay. Teams run all over them, which is why I think it would be wise for them to hand the ball off to Ben Tate 25 times. And Hoyer just really, I lost confidence in him after last week. He had a horrible day last week against a terrible defense.
True. All right, moving on. Shane Vereen, 10,236, or Shane Vereen, 10,236. I love Shane Vereen. This is not a would you rather. We're moving on. I just put it on here. Fair enough.
Okay.
I haven't mentioned him at all. I really like Shane Vereen a lot.
I think you're going to be surprised at who gets the ball this week.
I don't
really
care.
Do. No, I love him too, but I think that Bill Belichick is going to pull another Bill Belichick, and he's going to put Jonas Gray in there. I think he's just going to crap on everybody.
You think? Okay, fine. Shane Vereen or Eddie Lacy, 93-81.
Eddie Lacy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vereen peaked last week. I don't think you're going to see a performance quite like that the rest of the season. I really like Eddie Lacy this week, actually, so I got to agree with Nick.
New Orleans defense is just bad all around. They are like bottom third in everything.
Like I
every
said,
category.
Rob Ryan, terrible person.
Rob Ryan.
You're just a bad person.
Alrighty, Andre Ellington, 14,148, or Lamar Miller, 13,733.
Ooh.
I love my boy Lamar Miller. I think he's.
Are you kidding me?
He scored a touchdown.
You automatically lose. I don't even care
touchdown
what
in
he
4
picks.
straight games. I think he's going to come out huge against Jacksonville this week. I just think it's Miller time down there.
I also like Lamar Miller a lot, but Andre Ellington is like the focal point of this offense right now. Michael Floyd does a great job of stretching the field. Larry Fitzgerald's been really hot and cold, but Andre Ellington, sheer consistency. If you're in a PPR league, man, he is
could not be more wrong, sir.
He is. Oh, stop it! Get out of here.
I'm actually keeping score this time, and Nick was right on that one. But T.Y. Hilton, 13,819, or Des Bryant, 14,399.
Who was the first one?
T.Y.
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 Dez. I think Dez is going to be in contention for the number 1 week this week. It is really appalling how bad Washington is against the pass.
Are you offended about that?
I am very offended.
Do you want to go down there and change
No,
their
you know
name?
why? Yeah, I do. I want to change their name because they're supposed to bring honor
The Washington Professional Football
Team.
Team.
They can be the Washington Democrats.
Do you guys notice that people have been calling the Wizards the Washington Professional Basketball Team, which I found really funny because it's not offensive.
Wow.
Yeah, that whole thing's actually going to catch on.
That's funny.
A little weird.
I'm actually going to go with Hilton, try to make a case for him because of especially with Wayne being out. I think he's going to have a huge game. Andrew Luck is showing no signs of slowing down the rest of the season. They've won 5 straight. They're going up against a terrible secondary in Pittsburgh. You know, Andre Johnson.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gave you the point, and then you insulted my secondary.
You were going to give him a point for that? Are you serious?
Even though I picked Des Bryant as my winner of the week.
Des Bryant is the man right now.
I picked him as my winner of the week. I agree. I deducted
so
a point from you.
He takes a point. Gives it to me.
Yeah,
Gets
you
it
lose.
back, and then he
Get out of here.
Okay.
This isn't footage.
Not an impartial judge at all. All right, fair enough.
The points don't matter.
Let's go, sir. Move it on.
Wow, he's moving me along in this show. Who hosts this show again?
Footers
You're
Universe.
fired. Sammy Watkins, 11,422, or T. Will Terrence Williams, 10,947.
Oh, man, Watkins. Williams didn't have the best day last week. He caught 1 touchdown. I think that was his only catch last week. I just think Watkins coming off that performance, I think he's going to capitalize on it. He's been really impressive. Even in the games when he hasn't had the amount of catches, they're still somewhat targeting him. I really like Watkins this week. The only exception was against Revis, which is understandable.
This is a good one. I love Sammy Watkins this week because it's very clear that he became the number 1 option in Buffalo. But I got to go with Dallas's passing offense because I really think Tony Romo goes for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think Terrence Williams catches at least one of those, and when he catches them, they're big plays. So, big play, I think he gets big points.
You want to know something? I think that's the stat line exactly for Kyle Orton as well.
Oh,
What?
Stop
300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
You think he gets 300 yards and 3 touchdowns?
He throws the ball 65 times a game. I'm going to keep it goes up every time I talk about him.
That should be good for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Are you not worried about Gavin Escobar's vulturing a little bit?
I am, but I don't think Terrence Williams factors in as much in the red zone.
That's true. His touchdowns are almost always 30 to 40 yards. I swear, every time.
I think he had 1, maybe 2 in the red zone, but yeah, they are big plays.
That is true. All right, coming after the break, we are continuing Would You Rather, and Nick is currently in the lead.
Oh, damn.
All right, it's coming up
Biased.
after the break, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
It's a street fight here on the Star Fantasy League show in the Weekend Fantasy Focus. We're playing Would You Rather for StarFantasyLeagues.com Week 8. We're going to continue.
You got some good ones today, though. I like these. These are really good.
Because there are so many guys I like. I'm just pitting guys I like against each other. That's all it is.
It's fantastic.
All right, we're continuing. We're continuing with some tight ends. Gronk, 11,092, or Jimmy Graham, 11,505. You don't like either of these guys.
No, but here's the thing: is I just don't have any faith that Jimmy Graham is going to be out there for enough snaps that it keeps his value where it should be.
Do you remember last season there was one game where they said he's about 60%?
Yep. No,
he's only going to play in the red zone. He got 2 touchdowns and 8 passes.
Agree.
They also said that about him last week, and he didn't get anything.
He didn't do anything. He got 2 targets last week. I think that the Packers take a page out of Detroit's book. What was Detroit last week, right? Yeah, Detroit. They take a page out of Detroit's book, focus on him in the red zone. If you focus on him in the red zone, what are they going to do? They don't really have any other options in the red zone.
That is true.
This is one of the rare times where I got to agree with Nick.
Boo agreeing, boo.
So Gronk it is.
Gronk, yeah,
all right,
you
fine.
have to go with Gronk.
Moving on, Jordan Reed, 73-23, or Jordan Cameron, 59-39.
Wow. I'm going to go with Cameron a little bit because of the price, but a little bit because I think the Browns are kicking themselves in the behind for what they did last week. They gave up a prime opportunity to separate themselves from the back of the pack, and I think they have to utilize their best playmaker on the field. They have to get it to Cameron.
I love Reed this week. Old Noodle Arm McCoy is not going to be able to throw it deep to Jackson or Garcon, so I really like his safety blanket in Jordan Reed.
That's the exact reason I like Reed as well. I think that Noodly McCoy cannot get the ball downfield anymore.
So it's check down McCoy all day then.
So Alfred Morris isn't really the factor in the run passing game.
No, I know. So if it's check down McCoy, you're not going to be able to stretch the field with the tight end. I feel like Cameron could go off for a big play or two.
But I think Reed could do like 10 for 50 and a touchdown. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's a little
10 for 50 and a touchdown.
That's a little ridiculous.
That happened last week. I can't remember who it was, but that was the most pathetic.
That's almost 20
points.
points.
Oh, it's Jermaine Gresham.
Oh, goody.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
All right, moving on. Jordy Nelson, 16,718, or Arian Foster, 17,182.
Jordy. New Orleans is horrible against the pass. Jordy's the man this year.
Yeah, Jordy. Sorry.
Oh, my God. You guys bored me.
Sorry. Just be sorry to yourself because this boy's winning.
All right, the last.
You talk first. That's how you win.
Well, when you're the best, that's what happens.
The last one of the day. Would you rather? This is close to a tie. If Footer wins this argument, he will tie the game. Jamal Charles, 12,943, or Randall Cobb, 14,202.
Please talk first.
I think Jamal Charles might be one of the top backs again this week. I see him coming out against St. Louis. It's been shown that Alex Smith and the wide receivers in the passing game aren't really a factor, essentially, in the Andy Reid offense. It's all Charles. Davis comes in and spells him and still gets production. So I really like Jamal Charles this week a lot.
Randall, don't call me corn on the cob. Cobb has 8 touchdowns so far this year, and he is about to get 2 more.
All right. Because of that argument, Footer just tied it up. We have a
Woo!
bonus. Would you rather?
Oh, God.
Would you rather Jordy Nelson and Jamal Charles or Arian Foster and Randall Cobb? I just switched them around.
Ooh.
You need a combo: Nelson and Charles or Foster and Cobb.
Go ahead. I took the last one first. It's on you.
Fine, I'll take Foster and Cobb because Foster is fantastic on the ground this year, and Cobb is a touchdown machine. So I got 1 or 2 touchdowns for him, which is going to be awesome, and he had Arian Foster for over 100 yards and a touchdown or 2.
This one's easy. I gave you the toss-up and you didn't take it. Nelson's the top wide receiver this week, and Charles is the main point of the offense.
I cannot believe it. Footer came from behind, and he is the winner of Would You Rather for this week.
Close. I don't accept that.
That ends Week 8 Weekend Fantasy Focus on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Play on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Over $16,000 in guaranteed prize pools, $500 free roll, NBA contest, NHL contest, a 100% deposit bonus to $2,000 using the bonus code FREE14 FREE14 to deposit. And Nick, if you don't want to lose it, would you rather? Stop insulting the host.
I didn't insult you. Get out of here.
Take it easy, guys.